Hi, this is Mike from BandLabs, and in this video, we're going to make a trip-hop beat in BandLab's free online DAW. You can open this project yourself with the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. Trip-hop tracks are often sample-based, and I want to use this approach too. So I open BandLab's sounds and enter trip-hop into the text search field to see if any dedicated trip-hop packs are available. There are several packs in the style, so I open trip-hop volume 1 and start checking out the samples. I like the sound of chords loop. I drag the sample into the project, and BandLab asks if I want to set the project key to that of the sample. By setting the project key, other samples I add will automatically be pitch shifted to the correct key. This will be convenient, so I select Set. BandLab sets the project key to D minor, and also sets the project tempo to the sample's tempo, 92 beats per minute. This sample has a cool feel, but it's the same chord all the way through, and I'd like some variation. I place the playhead at the start of bar 4, and select Edit, Slice at Playhead. This slices the audio clip into 2. You can also press the S key to achieve the same result. I double-click the latter of the two clips to bring up the editor panel, and set the clip's pitch shift parameter to -5 semitones. This feels more interesting to me than having the same chord play all the way through. I set this track's volume to -3 dB to give me more headroom to add other elements. Before I add any more musical elements, I want to add a drum beat for everything to sit on top of. I add a virtual instrument track and set it to drums, drum pads, Fat 90s kit. I add side sticks on the second and fourth beat of the bar, with kicks on the first, 8th, 10th, and 11th eighth notes. This is a basic hip-hop style beat which fits well with the chord sample, but I'd like to try to vary it up on the second bar. I duplicate the first bar out. To duplicate MIDI notes or clips in BandLab, select them and hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows, then drag them over. The second time around, I delete the final kick. I then duplicate the first bar out to fill the 4-bar clip. I'd like the drums to sound louder, so I opened the effects panel and add a Dynamics BL1176 compressor effect. This makes it a little too loud, however, so I set the track's volume to -3 dB. Next, I want to add some highs to the drum beat. In BandLab Sounds, I select Loops and enter Shaker into the text search field. Latin Groove Shaker 03 sounds cool, so I drag it into the project. I use the loop handle at the top right-hand corner of the clip to loop it out for the 4-bar sequence. Again, I'd like this part to sound louder, so I add a BL1176 effect. This sounds cool, but I'd like another shaker to provide more energy. I drag Dusty Hip Hop 82 CM Shaker 2 bar into the project and loop it out for 4 bars. This shaker is pretty loud, so I turn the track down to -12 dB. Now I want to add a bass line. I clear the text search field and set the instrument filter to bass. I look down the list for a bass line that's around the right tempo and in a minor key. TS92 B minor bass 8 bars fits the bill, so I drag it into the project, and BandLab automatically pitch shifts it to the project key. I set the track's volume to -3 dB. I'd like to add some more organic elements, and I decide to go for some strings next. I set the instrument filter to strings and drag Togo 127 BPM G minor violin into the project. This sample is 16 bars long, but I only want to use the first 4 bars, so I truncate the clip using the handle at the bottom right-hand corner. I'd like the string to have a natural-sounding reverb on it, so in the effects panel, I add a reverb, studio reverb effect. I set this track to -3 dB. Next, I'd like to add some guitar, so I set the instrument filter to guitar. GTR BB90 G minor 8 is the vibe I want, but I only want to use the first bar. So I truncate the clip, then loop it out for the rest of the 4 bars. I set this track to -3 dB. Next, I'd like some brass. BandLab's THK1 Sax Riff 01 sounds appealing, so I drag it into the project. I set this track to -9.5 dB. That's all the elements I feel I need for this project, so next I make the arrangement. My arrangement starts off with the guitar looped for 4 bars. Then the strings come in. I begin adding the beat elements. First, the Latin shaker. Then the drum kit. Then the hip-hop shaker. Next, the chords are added. Then the bass drops. When the bass drops, I take the guitar out so that the bass is the focus of the listener's attention. Then I take the strings out for a more minimal drums, bass, and chords section. Next, I figured the listener is settled into the bass groove, so I bring the guitar back. I swap out the guitar for sax in the next section. After the sax is done, the guitar and strings come back, and this is where the track is at its fullest. Next comes a breakdown with just the guitar, strings, and chords. Then we have a second bass drop with the beats, sax, and chords. The sax then leaves the mix. For the outro, the chords leave the mix, leaving us with just the drums and bass. You can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!